The following YouTube cast is a Conscious Waves production.
Well, welcome to another episode of Conscious Conversations.
Yes, welcome everybody.
All right, so we're in December already.
Yes.
Can you believe it? Anyway, been a lot going on. It's a very, very busy time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think our last Conscious Conversations was on patience.
Yes.
Certainly was.
Yes.
And as usual, we get challenged. We knew we had to develop a good sense of patience.
We certainly learnt that over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, so something else that stemmed from that too. So we did have to learn some patience, and we will continue to get challenged. However, I think we have learnt quite a bit.
Yeah, sure have.
And just how to actually deal with patience in a different sort of way to what we have before. So
Yes.
I'm really glad that we've been able to do that.
Yeah,
It has
absolutely.
been a good growing bit.
Yeah.
But it also led us to understanding how to trust the process. Now, we've actually challenged ourselves to this over the last couple of weeks as well. So not only did we have to learn a different way of being patient, but also trusting the process. Now, this probably for us, or definitely for me anyway, because I'm probably...
No, I think we all...
I tend to be outstanding at worrying about the future now, don't I?
Yeah, just...
Yeah. So I like everything to be in order and for me to know everything. And so therefore I get my control and my...
You'd like to have your ducks all in a row.
I do like to have my ducks in a row. So if something doesn't work, I want there to be something else already in its place.
Correct.
Instead of, and what I think we talked about earlier this year as well, actually having to live in the moment. So there's been quite a few different challenges for us this year of actually really reconnecting with ourselves. We've been through a lot. We're changing the way that we are. And, it's a continual process, isn't it?
We're on a journey.
We are on a journey, yeah.
A growing journey.
Yeah, we are. So we thought that this week we're going to be doing trusting the process.
Okay.
So we're going to give you some insights into it. We are still practicing it.
Yes.
And I think different challenges will come up and we'll think of different things. But hopefully we can shed some of this sort of light when, you sort of, if you're a bit like me, that you like everything, or you'd like your ducks in a row and you like to know what's going on, actually starting to practice this is quite exciting, actually. I finally, when some door did just close just yesterday, instead of me being devastated, which I had been quite a bit of the time leading up to it, I actually had practiced some of these things and given it a bit of space in it. I actually drove home smiling.
Yeah, exactly.
And felt very much like it was just a close of a great chapter, an absolutely fantastic chapter. So I'm going on to a better chapter.
Yeah, good.
That's pretty much what it's going to be. So one of the things in going along with this would be trusting your intuition.
Yes.
Now, you're good at this. Just thought I'd tell you, you're way better at intuition than me. So you can sort of tell us how you get along with trusting your intuition a little bit better.
Okay, well, intuition. What do you see intuition as?
Well, when I see you do it, you just know it's your gut instinct.
Okay, so looking from the outside in, how do you see that?
Well, see, I think I might have intuition. I'm pretty sure I do. But then I question it. And I think your better thing is that when you're going with the flow, totally, you just go, I just knew this was going to happen. You could feel it, and then you have a lot of motivation to do it. When you start to question, then I guess you shut everything down, which would be like what I do. So it's actually, intuition is called a gut instinct too, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's sort of a feeling that you have here rather than a feeling that you start to conjure up in here.
Our conscious mind and our subconscious mind.
Yeah.
And knowing what our conscious mind does and knowing what our subconscious mind does. Knowing that, our conscious mind is there to protect us. It's there to make sure that we're able to survive whatever it is that we get put into at a certain time.
Yep.
We need that. 100% we need that. And we're blessed to have it. And I sometimes, not all the time, but I thank my conscious mind for being a protector.
Yeah.
because it's important that we do that. And I think it's also comes down to us thanking, you know, that part of our brain or whatever it is. And I'm not going to go into the other areas of the brain, and there'll be people out there that will have different ideas about all of the different quadrants of the
Yeah, and
brain
they've all got a purpose.
and
Yeah,
all of that stuff, and we know that through music and
yeah,
that,
for sure.
all the different types of parts of the brain that get used in music and that, because of us being involved with music and that. So we're kind of really aware of all of that stuff. And if you're not aware of what music can do for you, then
Well, that might be coming up a bit next year.
yeah, well, yeah, stay tuned with that one, because that has another spin on it totally altogether again. However, this is just what we're talking about today. So, and so then there's the subconscious mind, which is more of the creative side of things. It's getting to really connect with the self.
Yeah, it sort of bypasses critical thinking, I guess.
Absolutely. And again, if we went back into the area of, I keep referring to music at the moment, and you'll most probably be a better person to explain this. Like people that are jazz musicians, that are absolutely fantastic with improvising and things like that. Like when they've done scans on the brain, they've actually shown that side of the brain being used so much more, which makes those types of musicians absolutely exquisite people in playing. So I have spent a lot of my time learning to be able to identify what the right is and what the left is. And that when the left wants to kind of take over the right, because that's the controlling, that's the getting all the ducks in the row and stuff like that, and making sure that we are in line with everything. You then tend to miss out on all of the other good stuff, which is, I believe, is the right-hand side of the brain and everything else, to being able to then use your inner guidance, being able to use your intuition, however you want to call it. That's what it is. Some people will call it, they've been spiritually guided. Some people will call it God. Some people will call it, Buddha, or whatever that is. And then that gets into the spiritual side of things. But for me, it's learning to be able to tap into that more, that creative side more than the non-creative side, which is the left-hand side of the brain, so that then I can see things a little bit clearer. Now, do I fall back into the left side a lot more sometimes when I'm having a really crappy day? 100% I do. All right. So we are not, I don't believe anyway, we are total masters of that. I think that we really have to always, it's always a working process.
Yeah. And I suppose it's being aware of it and not staying there for too long, I guess.
Absolutely.
Is something that we need to practice. But following your gut instinct, actually quietening your mind to be able to listen to it sometimes instead of getting caught up in the hustle and bustle of what other people think or what we're supposed to be doing, I think is something that we probably should try and, well, not master, but work towards anyway, using in our life a lot more. Maybe the word master is the right one.
I think it's actually being aware more than trying to master something. I think it's actually just being aware of it. And when you're aware of it, you can then go, in your day, something might be going on along and you'll go, oh, hang on, I'm thinking this way when I really could be thinking this way. And mind you, we all have a choice. We can go down that way and go, well, yeah, hang on, stop and think. Then you stop and you think and you go, oh, yeah, I could be going that way. But what the heck, I'll just go that way anyway. Because it's the easiest.
It's familiar.
Yeah, it's familiar. It's easy.
Yes, it's definitely easy to worry.
Most of us in society are programmed to take the easy route.
Yeah.
All right. But when you actually take the other route, it's a little bit bumpy along the way to start with. but man, oh man, the rewards are so much better.
Yeah.
And then it becomes actually easier.
Yeah, and I suppose that leads on to the next point that we have, which is overcoming the fear and uncertainty. So if you follow your gut instinct, if you think, look, really, I'm not going to, this happened to me, and look, I want to plan this and plan this and plan this, instead of having the time, having the space, trusting the process that actually something good will happen. It just doesn't have to happen instantly. And so it's that fear of not knowing. See, I always feel like when I had something nice and consistent, I was, it's like I had solid ground under my feet.
Yeah.
And then when that gets taken away, it feels like I'm free falling.
Yeah.
Now, I've never, ever wanted to jump out of a plane. I know that my family does. They're all keen to do the whole skydive, but not me. I'm happy to be on the ground taking the photos. So that whole feeling of free falling, instead of actually thinking of that, because that's a fear of mine, what I decided to do this time is actually just go, I'll try these mindfulness things that you've said. It's saying the affirmations over that I really believe in, that I've written myself or I found from somebody else, and trusting in them. And just even when I've had it, like you said, when we have our bad days, I've actually recorded them. So I listen to them in the car or when I'm walking. And so I'm saying them over and over. So it becomes part of my subconscious mind, so that every so often I hear them and I go, oh, that's for now. All right. And then I can listen to it, take it on board a little bit more, and then being able to not feel as fearful, not feel as uncertain, but just actually start to believe that we're going to be looked after. Something wonderful will happen.
Yeah.
Because if I keep thinking something bad's going to happen, that's what I'm attracting, because that becomes my affirmation.
Absolutely.
So it's really interesting to overcome that fear and overcome the uncertainty by mindful practices. So that's affirmations. That's also meditation. It's going for a nice walk. That's actually putting yourself into a position where you can raise your vibrations, like listening to music, having a good laugh with people, seeing the positives in things, which is what I really like to do.
And also too, it is about past experiences as well.
Yeah.
Look, we can get into so many areas, because there are so many areas, but it definitely is past experiences too, dragging. A lot of people like to live from the past and bring their past into their future.
Yep.
And hence the reason why then the process takes on that
This
shape.
didn't work before, so it's not going to work again.
Yeah.
And you bring all of that forward
And
instead of
I think you and I have had that conversation.
We have.
Many a times, and not only just for you, but for myself as well. Like, this is the reason why it's like it. And past experiences do play a role. However, it depends on how much of a role you want it to play.
Yes.
And I think we talked about this before, about living in the moment.
Yes. And I really think that if we can focus on the present, that is the thing. That's that wonderful thing from Kung Fu Panda. Remember, you can't live in the past, and, the future's not here yet. So the reason that you live in the present, it's like it's because it's a gift. It's a gift to us that we're actually living here. I wish I knew that.
And the thing is too, is that your story and your picture of what you have seen in your life, right, will always be engineered by the emotion that drives it.
Yes, that's right.
All right. So if you've got, it doesn't matter, you can have whatever picture it is, but if the emotion that's attached to that picture is not a really good one, then eventually what will happen is that will always keep coming up. And I always keep getting told, it's like being in one of those revolving doors.
Yep.
Like you go in that door, like you ever go into one of those big office buildings, and you can go all the way around, and as you go all the way around, you come back out the same door.
Especially when you're kids. How much do they like going round and round?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
I mean, it seems fun when you're little, but then you don't.
Depends on how fast the revolving door is too. So, but all of those things come back down to the process. So that's it's a very interesting.
So we can relive our past if we want to.
100%.
Or we can get off that
we can get off
revolving
that,
door and go into a different direction.
or as someone used to say, get off that hamster wheel.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
and that's really, really important.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
All right. So I think this next point is one that sort of I think is my biggest challenge, and that is actually embracing the unknown, because that's where I think I was just mentioning it a bit before. Embracing that unknown for me has not been how I grew up. You know, it's always the safety and security of, you know, not even trying to do something a little bit different. However, if I can really look back on my past, there's some great moments where I was uncertain about things, but yet it still worked out. It worked out way better than I thought. I need to every so often remember that emotion and go, you know, this actually can really work, you know, and they're learning opportunities. I think where we sometimes fail as, well, it's not really a failure, because I even put up a post the other day. Your failures are your best lessons, because it's not really a fail. It's a lesson. It's just, you know, a mistake is a mistake. It's just you take it again and you learn from it.
That's right.
You know, so
how many times did Albert Einstein and
Thomas Edison with the electric light, you know, like 10,000, he knows 10,000 ways it doesn't work.
That's exactly.
You know, or electricity or whatever it was that he did. But so much that they, you know, scientists are amazing and very, very patient. You know, these people that are right on the cutting edge of developing new things and technologies. I mean, they don't all happen straight away.
Yeah.
It is that tried and tested process of, well, when you know that bit doesn't work, well, then next time you don't put that together, you do something different. And that's where those affirmations can come in again. And that's where the living in the moment, you know, like me worrying about the future is starving me of what's happening now.
So, you know, you're talking about embracing the unknown. See, I used to always remember you turning around and saying, like, I look at every moment in life like a present. That I get to actually.
It's going to do that at one stage.
I actually get to unwrap each present as I go along.
Yeah.
And it's in the word present.
Yeah, that's right. And I remember doing that. That was years ago. That was before we even moved down the South Coast.
Absolutely.
And I was so full of possibility for those couple of months until I forgot to do that. I have to practice that a little bit more.
That's
all right. Well, we have a quick break?
We shall.
All right. We'll have a quick break and we'll get back with a couple of last points about trusting the process.
Okay.
See you soon.
Are you ready to dive deep into the world of consciousness and personal growth? Look no further than Conscious Conversations, the podcast that takes you on a journey of self-discovery and transformation. Hosted by a dynamic husband and wife team, who are experienced coaches and thought leaders, this podcast offers insightful and inspiring conversations about a range of topics, from aligning values, mindfulness and meditation to relationships and communication. Each week, they will share their unique perspectives and wisdom on how to live a more conscious and fulfilling life.
And welcome back.
We're back.
We're back.
All right. So, it's been really interesting, actually. I'm really enjoying talking about this. I know that we did a lot of research into going into it, and we've actually been living quite a bit of this process anyway, but it's actually reinvigorating me to continue to do it.
Yeah.
Actually, I love that.
Will come up for the next few weeks.
Yeah, it will be very interesting. I'm sure we'll be challenged again to some of these, but it's also being flexible and being adaptive.
Yes.
Right? And our adaptability to trust what's coming up.
Yeah.
You know, whatever gets thrown in your way, can you do something about it? Like so many times we can adapt to so many things. Think about driving a car. You know the route that you go every day and off you go, but when the lights turn red, you know, you can stop when people cut in front of you. You know, you can take evasive action. You know, sometimes it takes half an hour, sometimes it takes 25 minutes, sometimes it takes 40 minutes. Yeah. You're going the same thing, but you're adapting to the conditions, especially like rain or fog or heat, whatever. So we can adapt to our seasons. Like our seasons change. We have to adapt to the heat. We have to adapt to the cold, and we do those sorts of things. So really, for our life in general, we're really good at adapting.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But when it comes to wanting to plan your future, adapting to things that come along can be more challenging, I think.
To say we have been programmed that way.
Yes. That things should be a certain way.
Things should be a certain way. We have to react a certain way. This is how it has to be this way, when really you can actually be outside of that and you don't actually have to live that way.
Yeah.
And it's waking up to that process and realizing that we don't need to be
one particular
way.
And I think what you said, isn't it funny that we are always called that we have to react, like we put in a reaction as a comment sort of thing instead of actually a response. And it's a more gentle way of doing it, because a reaction to me is like one of those knee-jerk sort of things. You know, you're angry or you're happy or you're sad or you're a thumbs up or you're a thumbs down or whatever.
Angry, sad,
but, you know, like if we actually responded.
The game's changing.
Yes, and it's just something that, okay, well, this happened, so, you know, I'm going to respond by doing this instead of react. And so it seems to be a bit more gentle in the way that we do that.
Yeah.
And to remember that we need to have faith in our resilience. You know, when you really think about humans, we've overcome a whole heap of stuff. We know we can really do a lot. Like, you know, you break your leg, your body can heal.
Yeah.
And then you can go on and you can, you know, people that have broken their legs have gone on and still become Olympic champions. You know, so that's one resilience, but your mind needs to be resilient.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure we eat food that our body shouldn't have, but yet it stays healthy if you've got a healthy mind. So the other thing that is this patience has to come in to trust the process. And it was a big thing that we talked about last time, was patience and the ability to be patient, the ability to give it time and whatever. But I think part of understanding patience, which we didn't touch on last time, was trusting or understanding the timeline of things. Now, you're better at timelines again than I am, but it's also going into the future. So it's an interesting
look, timelines are really interesting. There's something that you can't see, but they are there.
Yeah.
And we all have a timeline.
We do indeed.
All of us. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you're from. We all have a timeline.
We do.
We have a past and we have a present.
And a future.
All right. A present, sorry. Yeah, I pointed out there, I should have said future, present being here.
Yeah.
So we do. We have that past, present, and the future. And however, it's learning to be able to know where that past is. It's learning to know where your present is, and it's learning to know where your future is. And a great example, when I had some people that used to come and see me, clients, and I'd ask them, well, where's your past? Where are you now? And where is your future? And more than likely, most of the time, people would always say, well, my future is there. And
Up
I'd
in the sky.
yeah, that way. And I'd just quickly say to them, well, just tell me how, when you're going into something, let's say like a job, or you're going for something, how easy or hard is it to do it, to get to that position? And they say, oh, it's always an uphill battle. Always an uphill battle. It's always something that, you know, I always think it's there. And I just say to them, can you just point to me where your future is? And again, it'd be at a 45-degree angle. And I'd say, well, there's your hill. You're climbing that mountain all the time. And they'd say, oh, I didn't know that. Again, that is your timeline. Now, can that timeline alter? 100% it can. And not only just me, but I know of other practitioners, and the late, great Rob Whitewood. He has done some amazing things. He did some amazing things with people in regards to timelining and stuff like that. And I'll be forever in debt, grateful, I should say, to him in showing me that. And I was around to being able to see that. Earth Angel, 100%. And yeah, to be able to see him at work was amazing. However, he definitely was somebody who showed me that timelines do exist. And I would also say Nero, who we've had on
Oh, we have. He was magnificent.
on our
Unconventional University.
yeah
Yep.
everyday journey inspiring conversation.
Yep.
Nero.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, check out his website.
yeah, amazing person. And so switched on and knows exactly all about timelining, knows exactly all about that. So yeah, if you haven't had a look at him, I'd thoroughly recommend him. Studied under him. He's an amazing guy. G'day, Nero. And yeah, so timelinings do exist, and I know I spent a little bit of time there just talking about that, but yeah, it's important.
So it's and it is also trusting. Okay, so we know that we've had a past, and obviously, if your future is an
At an
uphill
angle.
battle or whatever, or you think it's going downhill, which could be another option, this is the trust in the process.
Correct.
That it's going to happen when it's the right time to happen.
Yeah.
We've talked with Kimberly about synchronicities. And this is part of the timelining, I would imagine, too, or understanding the timelines, because sometimes you just can't rush things. Like, for example, I love cooking. You know I love cooking.
Yes, you do.
Now, I could get all the ingredients in a cake, put it in the oven, and if I wanted it to be out in half an hour but it actually needed longer, my cake wouldn't be right.
That's right. It wouldn't be cooked. It'd be awful.
Yeah, it'd be horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't
She
do
makes some really great cakes.
I do. I'm very rarely do I pull it out early. So, or better still, you didn't even notice or you forgot that something was cooking. Could you imagine that? And then it's burnt and hard and you can't have it. So it is trusting that you'll be in the right place at the right time if you probably live in the present.
Yes.
If you start to live in the present and give your future the space to unfold.
Yes.
And then be aware. I think the next thing is putting in consistent effort, that you're not just going, well, I'm just going to sit here and do nothing until the perfect time happens. I think it's living your life, helping people.
Yeah.
You know, if you need to, like, for instance, you need to get fit, you can't get fit by just sitting around. So you're doing some activities, you know, even if it's just little bits at a time with that sort of stuff, and you're trusting that, and then something will come up. And then, you know, you could get a gym buddy, or you could get a personal trainer, or, you know, all of those sorts of things. You know, I've, you know, people the same thing, you know, they went for the job that they thought was a perfect job, didn't get it. Now it's waiting for where is the better job.
I think what we'll do is we look at we'll do a cast on being in the moment.
In the moment. I'm pretty sure that one's got to come soon.
And what we should do too is we might talk a little bit more about timelining as well.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
And we'll talk about that. And I think another great one, which we're not down today, but we'll talk about boundaries.
Oh, yes. See, these are some things we're talking about that we're up to next year, because we're actually going to go into some really amazing things that we had developed as courses, but it just, you know, you could go for weekends for this. So we can break it down into segments that we can,
100%.
you know, teach you here. So I think, you know, or give you insights to it here, because they are amazing. And this timelining one, I forgot how important and amazing the whole thing is, which is great.
Yeah.
So I guess when you're trusting the process, what have we talked about? We've talked about trusting your intuition, overcoming fear, embracing the unknown, being patient, understanding your timelines, in synchronicity with life in general. When you I do. So good. It's so much better than coincidence. So you just know it's been planned and lined up. It's not just one of those accidents, you know. I like that it is like that. And we've been able to talk on, you know, the importance of those affirmations and the important mindset. So we actually put up a lovely little reel last week.
Yeah.
And it's just about some affirmations that we use often that, you know, sometimes, like I said earlier, they often don't mean very much, and then suddenly they really do. And that's the consistency of doing those and having a good, positive mindset, you know, trying to find the good in a situation, even if it's a bad one, or not staying in the bad one for too long, and moving forward.
I think what you've also said too, when people go, oh, yeah, but they just don't work. Well, guess what?
That's the affirmation.
That's the affirmation.
That's right. And I guess the thing too is visualizing success. If you can trust the process and you believe that all that's happening, so you might feel like nothing's happening at the right moment, but then you trust your timeline, you trust the synchronicities, but visualizing that you're going to have something better. It was like I said, that the last chapter of the chapter that's just closed on my life has been an absolutely fantastic one. So now I'm waiting for the next one. I can't say, well, I can't get better than that. What I've got to say is, this is the stepping stone. This is the springboard
You
of
kind
a
of
better.
know that something's coming.
Yeah, there's going to be something way better happening. So, visualizing those sorts of things of success, whether you can actually see it or not, but actually feeling it. It's a sort of a visualize your emotion in a way, or connect with the emotion of something wonderful happening. So,
again, if you're actually in that moment, you then experience it and feel it a lot more powerfully than if you were just putting it out there and just dangling the carrot in front of yourself.
yes, there's a big difference about that.
There
Actually
definitely
connecting
is.
with that, and then still, like my thing is, then when I get all excited like that, it was, well, when it's going to happen, you know, and so then it is, it's a timeline. There's, let's give it space. And actually remember that and revisit that feeling, and because it does do some amazing things.
Yeah,
and you feel good.
Yeah.
So it's a holistic practice, this whole trusting the process.
Mm.
And it, we can't. You probably got to try and get a bit of everything.
Yeah.
To actually get it to really work together. Yeah. And look, have a support person, have someone that you can talk to about.
Yeah.
Help you along the way, give you reminders that, hang on a minute, you're slipping back into this. How about we do this? Reach out to us.
Yeah.
Video cast for sure.
And,
you can send us emails.
Yeah, send us emails.
Yeah.
Go at www.consciouswaves.life.
Yeah.
You can send us emails. You can do,
Yeah.
all of those things.
You can get in touch with us on Facebook too.
Yeah, Facebook is there.
Instagram.
Like we have Instagram. We've put so many things up. There are so many things there that you can get in touch with us.
Yep, and we'd like to help too.
Yeah.
Like we said, we're going on this journey, and if you like to join us and we can form this community of support, I think that's even better.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know now that you've got an affirmation for us.
You have a really good affirmation. Actually, I've tried this out a little bit this week. That's why I'm in a particularly good frame of mind.
Okay. All right. Let's have a listen to it.
All right. So this is an affirmation for trusting the process.
Yeah.
Right. I trust in the journey of life. Every step I take, even in uncertainty, leads to me to where I am meant to be. Challenges are opportunities for growth, and setbacks are stepping stones to success. I embrace the process, knowing that each moment is a valuable part of my unique path. With patience, persistence, and a positive mindset, I confidently trust in the unfolding of my story. I am resilient, and every experience contributes to my personal and professional evolution. I trust the process, and in doing so, I open myself to the limitless possibilities of the present and the future. It's a lengthy one, but it's very good.
Yeah, I reckon we'll put that one at the bottom of this video cast.
Yep, for sure.
And you can copy that and use it for yourself.
Yep.
And just read it over every day. Pretty much that's what it is. Read it over every day.
Every day.
But it's stepping back to and observing everything that's happening around you as well. Sometimes when we're actually stuck in the moment as well, it's very, very hard to see everything else going on around. So by stepping back out a little bit and having a look, it's really easy, like to be able to
observe
everything too.
That's an important thing.
Okay.
I reckon we've exhausted our things for today for trusting the process. You could have some other ideas, and hopefully maybe it sparked off something in you to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So that you can, go about every day that you have living the best life that you can, helping other people do the same, because that's what we're all here for, to be lights in the world for other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and we're all connected in an amazing way.
I've said that.
Yep. And we've got a couple more. I don't know whether we'll have any more this year, will we? Because we're in December, but we do have a last couple that we're going to record, and we'll probably put them into
we'll see.
We'll see how we go.
But remember, like, you're never ever alone. Right? There's always someone to be able to reach out to. Like Louise and I have said, you can always reach out to us.
Yep.
And have a conversation via an email or a messenger or whatever as well. So, we're on this journey together, and thank you also to all of our subscribers.
Oh, yes.
I
Yeah,
want to put
growing daily.
growing daily. People have put up a few comments and things like that as well, or thumbs
for that.
up or whatever. Make sure that you share it and, get it out to other people. Let people know that, we're creating this really big worldwide family where we can all come together and share ideas and share things,
Yeah.
because we're always learning off other people as
That's
well.
right. Yep, we are.
And
And we need to.
we need to. That's
We need
just
to learn from each
what
other.
it's all about. So
Yes.
that's the family.
And we need to have the love of learning forever.
Absolutely.
Whether it's like it's knowledge in so many different ways. So yeah, if we can all help each other, that is brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Okay, then. Well, have a very, very nice day or evening wherever you are
Yep.
around the world.
Yep.
And
Thanks for joining us.
thanks for joining us. And we'll see you soon.
Yep.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Louise.
And we are Conscious Waves. See
See you
ya.
later.